I listened. Here's the darn thing. Take it and just shut up and stop telling stories already. Here you go. I
Really?
wrote it all down. Take it, and do whatever you want. But I'm done.
So how did it actually segue into you deciding to get published?
Well, my father became ill.
Mm.
I was very lucky. I was fortunate to have my father until he was 90 years old. It's coming up on the 1 year anniversary of his death this Palm
Wh-
Sunday.
When did he get ill? When was that?
He had a heart condition and could no longer walk or live alone or take care of himself in the year 2004.
Really?
So I moved him. I moved. I was going through some things,
Hmm.
and it was best that I return home. I was going through a very surprising and disappointing divorce. I had a 1.5 year old baby,
Right.
and at the time, and he said, "Well, you just come home." So I came home,
Right.
and my father at that point became a very pivotal influence in my daughter, little girl, in her life, and Grandpa kind of became a father figure, and we had kind of had a happy household. And I have a big brother who also took it upon himself to take care of me and watch over me and really guardian me. I was very fortunate. Always had a big brother and a father who were always, rocks. They were rocks. And perhaps, some of my disappointment in life was assuming that other people would be the man that my brother and my father were.
Right.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Um, and I was just very lucky, and my daughter was very lucky.
Hmm.
And my father took ill after my brother. I have a big brother who's very talented. He was a musical prodigy, and at a certain point, he made up his mind to move back to a very large and comfortable family home in New Jersey. Lived in New Mexico, Santa Fe, New Mexico, since he was 18,
Hmm.
for decades, and said, "I'm going to come home. You've done this. You've done all that. You took care of mom." He says, "I'm going to come home and help you take care of dad and take care of you and your little girl."
Right.
And within 4 months of my brother Hank Summers returning home, he was being treated out west for a strep throat. Um, he took ill, and I got him to some of the best doctors. That's another nice thing about growing up when all your friends are medical doctors and have connections to Sloan Kettering and every other place in the world out
Right.
east, which
Yeah.
is
You know,
very
you know
good.
where to go. You don't have to just listen to other people tell you.
No, I make phone calls.
Hmm.
And I called in every favor, and within 3 days we found out that my brother had cancer, and
Really?
I
Jeez.
and I called up on really not knowing anything whatsoever about cancer, and I said, I had a friend who was going to admit my brother over in Sloan Kettering, and the receptionist answered and said, "Oh, that's unusual. It's funny because this one particular doctor who I didn't had known as a kid surfing on in Allenhurst on the Jersey Shore, whose family moved to Connecticut, who's a very progressive and experimental, aggressive cancer doctor in at Sloan Kettering, said, "Oh God, yeah, I'll get him up here tomorrow, Lee. Whatever you want, we'll do this. We'll do this thing." And when I called the secretary the next day to make arrangements and timing, she said, "That's funny. They usually don't accept them at stage 4."
Wow.
And I said, "How many stages are there?" And she said, "Oh, I don't know." And she hung up. And at that point, I had called a friend who had lost a husband to cancer. I said, "How many stages are there?" And there are 4.
Hmm.
And it was a devastating blow to me, and very, very, very hard for me to lose what I consider, one of my almost a soulmate, my big brother,
Hmm.
and that just about killed my father. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a physical accident that took the wind out of my dad's sails, but it was losing his first son,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
it was a devastating effect. To which I just said, "If you die, I'm going to kill you and stuff you in the chair because I can't bury more than one person a year."
Yeah. No kidding. Really.
And we just kind of meandered through the next 6 years, and just to keep him involved and engaged in life, I said, "Well, Daddy, we got to write these books, and I written them, but until you give your seal of approval, you can't go anywhere." And
Right.
he agreed. So for almost 7 years, I worked part time. The last 2 years, I had to just cease and desist all of my other vocational interests, and I was pretty much 24. Not 24, but say 12 hours a day. I hired people. My father was never alone, and I just I sat with him and convinced him that he couldn't go anywhere because my daughter needed him and I needed to finish these books.
Gotcha. All right. So how did you actually, we're kind of up on our first hard break. How did you actually get to the place where you started pursuing publishing?
My father passed away in April of last year, and I had all these piles of manuscripts. And on the anniversary of my brother's death, which is in July, I'm very close to it's a very beautiful graveyard, and that's what I do. And that's when I don't know what to do. I spend a lot of time there, and one of these days they're going to call people. They're going to probably call the police because I'm there way too much. Mm-hmm. And I heard a voice, and I heard my father saying, "Get on with it already. What the hell are you doing here?" and which is just like him. He smacked me in the head. He's like, "Knock it off already. We had good times. We had good memories. We had good dinners. We had a lot of parties. We had a good laugh." And I swear to God, I heard my father say, "Get on with it already." And part of me says I know he's pushing me to get on with my life, but it was a certain voice I heard, and I'm not crazy, but I took it to mean get on with the book, because every time he said get on with it, it was always in reference to the book. So I came home that day, made some inquiry. I had a professional secretary. Mm-hmm. I said, well, I can do some things if I want. What do you think we should do? I don't want to wait. I'm not going to wait for rejection letters or acceptance letters because, I myself feel that we're all here on a time limit, and we all have maybe self-imposed time limits. But I believe I'm on time limit for various reasons. I said I can't wait, mm-hmm. and I found a beautiful publishing company which is highly regarded called iUniverse.com.
Right.
And within 2 weeks of that day, I made a decision by Labor Day the book would be published.
Oh, great. Okay.
And I make things happen.
Way to go. All right, I'm glad you did.
Do that.
Yeah. Now we're coming up on a hard break now, and before we go on a hard break, we do have a caller from Tennessee. Daniel, can you unmute our caller? And caller, you're on the line.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
Doing all right. This is Jeff from Tennessee. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Jeff. How are you? You got
Doing
through.
Good. Been listening to the radio and trying to find a way to call in.
Boy, I'm very happy to hear your voice and hear from you. How's it going?
It's going good. I finished your book. Got a little bit of reading done on our Lindsay and his little getaway for the weekend. And
yeah, I know.
We had a great time. I'll be putting some pictures on Facebook sometime this week.
I always enjoy your pictures.
Yeah, great. Well, we're going to go on our hard break now. We got a little bit of musical segue. Give Lee a chance to stretch her legs for a minute, and we'll be back with you guys. Daniel, you got something queued up for us? Oh, Daniel?
Yes. Well, hang on. Give me a chance. I have to unmute and cue
it.
Yes, we have especially for Lee Van Halen and Dreams.
Nice. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Lee Summers and her book, Never Anticipate the Command. And that's Van Halen and Dreams. Welcome back to Mark Mercer's Loving, Caring, and Sharing. And it's Friday night, and of course we have, by way of Skype, joining us now, Lee Summers. Lee, thanks for taking time out to talk with us this evening. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure, and I am so appreciative that there was an interest in my work.
Yeah, we were just talking during the break about your book, and I want to get into that because there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to give away too much, but we do want to
give it away, Mark. Just give it away.
It's free tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway,
well, I'll tell you what, it might as well be free. The price of the book is very reasonable. You can get it on Amazon
and
for
half the proceeds. It all goes to Wounded Warriors. Don't forget that.
That's correct, and it's only $3 for the book, folks. If you have a Kindle, you can download it directly to your Kindle. If you don't have a Kindle, you can download the software to your computer or to any of your handheld devices for nothing. And then you've got the ability to download this book.
Whoa, Steve. We want them to buy the hard or the soft copy. I'm trying to raise money for the returning veterans who are going to need it.
Absolutely.
And the book makes for an ace paperweight.
It does.